Welcome to the Female Finance Collective, where we encourage women to have open and honest conversations about all things money. So, today we're going to talk about a topic that is really pertinent to the season, and that is holiday overspending.
Okay, so there are like 9 million things we could spend money on. So why don't we all say a couple things if money was no object, these are all the things that we would love to spend money on this time of year. So I'll say a few. There are always really fun holiday events. Like we have a thing here called ICE. That's like a fun event to go to, and the tickets are not inexpensive. Um, I gift giving is my love language, so I would buy gifts for everyone. I would like to not keep track of how much I've spent and just give all the gifts to whoever. I really like to tip big during this time of year to everybody. Um, People who I see all the time. So like the person I go to get a massage, I would like to leave her a large tip in December. The person who does my hair, I would like to leave them an extra large tip. So things like that. Those are some of my temptations, my holiday spending temptations.
I love that you mentioned your love language. Gift receiving would be my love language. I have a really hard time buying presents. And what I find also stressful about the holidays is a lot of the social stuff. I tend to be more of an introvert, and going to events takes a lot of energy for me. So if money was no object, I would definitely treat myself to things like a spa day, and just feeling like I had time to really enjoy the holidays. When I used to work in corporate, I would tend to work all the way up until Christmas Eve, and all my gift giving would be pretty disorganized. So I would tend to spend a lot of money. And I'm trying to do it a little bit differently now. But if money was no object, I would love to get my kids kind of a more expensive present because I've kept it really light and simple for a number of years. So I'd like to surprise them with something awesome. For my boys, that would likely be new, like cell phones. They don't have a cell phone yet, so that's something that I would get for them. And I would like to do something charitable. Like I would want to, do an amount or give my time in a way that is beyond what I usually do. So those would be kind of the things that I would do if money was no object. What about you, Sybil?
Yeah, so for sure the events, as you mentioned, Jen, the events are expensive. They're like $50 a person. And then I'm like, times four. Well, there's $200, right? To go play life-size Monopoly we were looking at for Thanksgiving week. Super fun and worth it. I've also mentioned on this podcast the ice caves and the mountains of, we haven't done that one yet. It's expensive. And so I think I would do more of those because I'm a big believer in spending money on experiences. Um, so I rather do that than, give gifts. But oftentimes what happens, at least in our family, is we do both, right? And it's just kind of assumed that you can afford it. So it's hard. I'm often the one saying, "Hey, do you guys want to exchange gifts between the kids this year? They're getting older instead of giving a gift to every kid. Let's put a $20 cap on that." Right? But if I didn't do it, um, I would feel uncomfortable because then I was like, how much are they spending on my kids? I don't know if I can spend as much on their kids. And so having that tough conversation is actually a good thing for all of us in the end. Some people might not like it, I don't know, but so events I would spend money on, more money on if money wasn't an object. Also gift giving, I do love seeing people open gifts and receive gifts that they really enjoy. Um, and then I would just think about like more experiences I could spend money on. And probably more travel. I'd probably do more travel. As teachers, you have your set breaks and they're always at the same time that everybody else is off. So travel is more expensive at that time. So traveling at Christmas or New Year's can be quite a bit more expensive. So I would do more of that if I didn't have to worry about money. Um, Yeah, I can't think of anything else that beyond that.
I think this is a time of year too where everybody feels busy. And even if you love it, like I love the hustle and bustle, I don't mind the crowded shops. I don't, because I just know they're going to be that way when I get there. So my mindset is like, look, everyone's out, like having fun and doing the holiday thing. So it doesn't bother me. But we are busier, right? Even us, we don't have kids, we just have dogs, and even we have more stuff going on. There's more events happening, there's more fun things we want to do. So I think also people probably splurge on conveniences. So things like having your gifts gift wrapped, or buying gift bags instead of wrapping paper. Gift bags cost more than wrapping paper, right? But it's faster. So I think we tend to splurge a little bit this time of year on those conveniences because we're like, we have so much going on, we're so busy, like let's just pay to have this managed for us so it doesn't feel so stressful. What I love about everything that we've said is these probably most people can relate to this, right? Like there's somebody I really want to get this gift for, but that's too much money. Or I would love to have somebody else wrap my PS, you could pay me to wrap your presents. I'll probably do it for free. I love gift wrapping so much. It's like I don't like a gift bag. I like a beautifully wrapped gift with like a pretty ribbon. Like that's my jam. So I would like to spend my money on fancy ribbon. So then we do all of those fun things, and then the bills arrive in January or maybe even February, depending on how late we were shopping and still having fun. And it's really stressful, right? And we have like a panic attack when we see this huge bill that now we have to pay. So for some of us, that's okay. And we just suck it up and we pay it off. And for others, like that is going to take months to pay off. And it's a really stressful, overwhelming situation. We had a ton of fun over the holidays, but now we're kind of literally and figuratively paying for it later on. So, what are some strategies? What are some ways that you guys can think of that don't feel like restrictive, but ways that we can like still do all that fun stuff, but like cut back a little bit?
I would say two things come to mind. One is planning, and then one is like thinking differently about that kind of strategy. So one is like planning ahead. I really haven't done great with budget planning for the holidays in the past, and I'm making that a goal this year. And what I mean by that is actually writing out all the names that I plan to buy gifts for, the events I plan to go to, or if I don't know, like this Monopoly event, I think I'll write down like one event with my side of the family, one event with my husband's side of the family, or something like that, to at least to be like, okay, that's $200 there, that's $200 there. So I can at least start, is that reasonable? How could we do it cheaper? Or could I go find a cheaper event like this Monopoly thing? I'm like, it might not be worth $50. If it is, great. If it's not, I'm going to be bummed I spent $50 per person on it. So I'm going to try to do that planning. And then what I mentioned earlier, of like offering up the idea of picking names versus giving to everybody, for example. Another fun one is white elephant. Like, let's, instead of giving each other gifts at this holiday party, let's all buy each other, let's do the white elephant thing of buying a funny gift or a used gift in some way, and then making it into a game. So then again, you're spending money on the experience, maybe a lot less money. But you're still like the idea of giving's there. You're still doing those kind of things. And then the third one I'd say before I pass the baton is buying at thrift stores. Like, I buy my wrapping paper and gift bags and such at thrift stores. They're super cheap and they're brand spanking new. People like get rid of gift bags all the time. And so I stock those up because once you give them away, you can only get so many back, the gifts you give to your own family or whatever. But it doesn't seem like a lot, but that stuff adds up over 20 years of like, that's just a habit I'm in. When I'm at the thrift store, if I see a good little bundle for $2 of like 5 gift bags, I buy it and I have a gift bag container, and for birthdays, Christmas, all those things in there. So that saves us money as well, but I can still like give people nicely wrapped gifts.
Okay, love those ideas. I have a few too. One is to be organized. So, what I mean by that is have a look at what you might already have. So, I did this over the past weekend. I pulled out my Christmas decor and looked at all the gift bags and cards and things that were already there. Usually, I would just rebuy everything each year. And then the pile just grows bigger and bigger. So I've just made a conscious effort to be more organized. I do have a list of who I'm buying for, and I set an approximate budget amount and list some ideas. And I do that throughout the year so that I'm buying things kind of when I see something that fits that person. You have to be organized to do that because past me would hide those things all over the house. And then I would randomly find them and just completely forgot that I had bought all this stuff. So organization is key for planning gift giving ahead of time. The other thing is that where I would panic and spend money is on the kind of the stocking stuffer items. So I'd leave those until last, and then I'd suddenly spend like $100 on like candy and socks and stuff like that. And I realized I need to buy that stuff ahead of time and not leave it for last minute because when I leave things to the last minute, that is expensive spending. So that, that definitely can add up. And then the third thing is I don't say yes to everything. So I I have to choose, what events to go to, what events to take my kids to. And I don't say yes to every single thing. I really pick the ones that fit my schedule the best, that really I know I'll enjoy and I know the kids will enjoy. And I just put some parameters in place for what we do in terms of activities.
Yeah, there's so many ways. But the key is exactly what you said. It's like planning and organizing, right? Anytime we fly by the seat of our pants, no matter what the season or occasion, it always costs more, right? I love the idea of setting a price limit. So, hey, family, let's all exchange gifts. Let's not spend more than $25 or $30 a person. Sometimes setting a low limit makes it fun. It makes it more of a challenge. Like, what cool gift can you get for this price? And so it's not always like a burden. Sometimes it makes it more fun and interesting. You have to get a little creative, and it's fun to see what each other, what everybody gets. I also think that host gifts, if you're somebody who gets invited to a lot of events, it can get expensive. And because you feel like you should bring like the host or hostess a gift every time you go. So there are things that you can like make really inexpensively, right? Like you could bake little loaves of pumpkin bread or something like that and like bring a homemade gift. That's always less expensive than purchasing something. If you find, I love to look for bargains. So maybe like this Black Friday weekend, I will buy ahead like a stash of a few things and save them in my present stash so that I have things to grab. I also buy gifts throughout the year and keep them in I call it my present box. And then I can pull things from there as well. A lot of it is that key of just planning and thinking ahead, but not being afraid to say, hey, let's rein it in a little bit. I just exchanged texts with my sister-in-law yesterday. I was asking her ideas for gifts for a couple of the kiddos in our family. And she was like, hey, can we not exchange gifts this year? Because we're just trying to cut back a little. And I was like, absolutely. I said, we're actually going to spend less on all the kids this year too. And she was like, perfect. So it was a very quick and easy text exchange. It wasn't awkward or uncomfortable. And that message alone probably saved like a few $100s, right? Because there's several kids we would have purchased for, and we're going to cut back on all of them. And then we won't exchange gifts with my sister-in-law and her husband. So I think just being bold and saying like, hey, let's not do this. Ooh, one other idea. And then someone else can take over. My mom is gifting coupon books to my nephews. I made them for her. She sent me a list of things that she wanted them to say. So I just went in Canva. They are things like a trip to the arcade with grandma, a movie night sleepover at grandma's house, pizza night with grandma. They live far away from a movie theater. So one was like a trip to the movie theater. And so some of them are free and they don't cost anything. Some of them were inexpensive, like an ice cream date or whatever. Uh, but they are all experiences, and then it allows her to spread out the spending. So, maybe it's one thing a month that they can cash their coupons in on. So she pays for the arcade in January, she pays for ice cream in February, instead of like, spending all of that at one time, which I thought was a really kind of fun idea for her to do. And then they're going to get to still unwrap these cute coupon books that we made for them, but they can spread the fun out.
So thank you so much for listening. Please be sure to like and follow our podcast. Find us on Instagram, on YouTube, on your favorite podcast platform. Give us a like, subscribe, download. It all is so helpful, and we so appreciate you listening in. Leave us a comment. We want to know what's resonating with you. What questions do you have? And we look forward to talking to you next week.